Hollywood once worshipped Eddie Murphy like a god, a true titan of laughter whose charisma could fill theaters and television sets alike. From his early days on stage to blockbuster movies that broke box office records, Murphy became the embodiment of comedic genius. Millions of hearts were captivated by his energy, charm, and fearless humor. Audiences laughed, cried, and cheered as he transformed every role into something unforgettable. Yet behind the glittering facade of fame, a turbulent personal story simmered quietly, one shaped by childhood trauma, loss, and relentless pressure. At the peak of his career, Murphy wasn't just a star. He was a phenomenon, a symbol of dreams realized against all odds, yet shadows loomed beneath his triumph. Early life shadows, born on April 3, 1961, in Brooklyn, New York. Eddie Murphy's early life was far from glamorous. He grew up in a poor working-class family with his father, Charles Edward Murphy, serving as a traffic cop while pursuing comedy in local bars. Tragedy struck when Eddie was only 8. His father was murdered in a crime of passion. The loss left a gaping void in young Eddie's life, compounded by his mother, Lillian, suffering a mental breakdown and being hospitalized. For a year, Eddie and his older brother were placed in foster care, enduring harsh conditions that would leave deep emotional scars. These formative years forged his resilience, but also planted wounds that would follow him throughout life, shaping both his humor and his pain. Humor as a lifeline. In foster care, Eddie discovered his greatest weapon: laughter. Facing fear, uncertainty, and cruelty, he learned to transform pain into comedy. Mimicking voices, creating characters, and entertaining his brother became more than fun. It was survival. By the age of 9, when his mother remarried, Eddie returned home, but the scars remained. These experiences instilled a profound understanding of how humor could shield him from despair. Laughter was both refuge and armor, a tool that would define his career. Eddie later reflected that without comedy, he might not have survived those early years. What appeared as talent to the world was, in fact, the product of necessity, a carefully honed skill born from trauma and the relentless need to endure. Teenage ambition. Even as a teenager, Eddie's comedic talents stood out. At Roosevelt High School in Long Island, he was the class clown, entertaining peers with spot-on impressions of Donald Duck, Elvis Presley, and popular figures of the time. Despite poor grades and repeating a grade, his confidence in comedy never wavered. At 15, he boldly proclaimed, "I'll be more famous than Bob Hope," an audacious statement that foreshadowed his destiny. But beneath this bravado was a young man masking deep wounds. His humor, while captivating, was also a shield against loneliness and loss. Comedy was his way to connect, to survive, and ultimately to rise above the challenges of a youth shaped by poverty, tragedy, and instability. Early career struggles. In the late 1970s, Eddie began performing in clubs and community centers across New York, building his craft through trial and error. Shows were often underpaid, audiences sometimes harsh, but every laugh strengthened his resolve. He imitated celebrities, mocked societal absurdities, and turned daily experiences into satire. Each failure was a lesson, each small success a step closer to recognition. The path was far from easy for a young Black comedian navigating a society still rife with prejudice and inequality. Yet Eddie's persistence paid off. With only humor as his tool, he began carving a place for himself in the entertainment world, proving that raw talent combined with relentless determination could eventually overcome the harshest of beginnings. Breakthrough and stardom. Eddie Murphy's big break came at 19 when he auditioned for Saturday Night Live, a legendary platform for comedic talent. His charisma, timing, and unique energy captivated audiences, and he quickly became a household name. Murphy's performances on SNL were electric, blending impersonations, sketches, and original characters with a fearless wit that challenged social norms. His success on television opened the door to Hollywood, where his career would skyrocket. Movies like 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, and Coming to America solidified his status as one of the most bankable stars of the 1980s. Yet even amid fame and fortune, the boy who had once found solace in humor during dark times carried the silent weight of childhood trauma beneath the glimmering surface. Personal struggles behind fame. Despite enormous success, Eddie Murphy's personal life was far from smooth. The public often saw the laughter and the charm, but behind the scenes, he faced challenges and heartbreak. Scandals, relationship struggles, and the pressures of maintaining fame weighed heavily on him. While movies and money brought external validation, inner peace remained elusive. Murphy's journey shows the duality of success. It can amplify joy, but also magnify loneliness. Even the brightest spotlight cannot erase personal pain. For Eddie, every role, every laugh was both triumph and coping mechanism, a reminder of how far he had come and how much he had endured, proving that even legends carry human vulnerability beneath their iconic personas. Later, life reflections. Now, at 64, Eddie Murphy enjoys financial security, fame, and a loving family, including 2 young children with his wife, Paige Butcher. Unlike his earlier years, he no longer seeks constant public validation. Life has shifted from the chaotic rush of stardom to quieter, more intimate moments. Watching his children grow, guiding them through everyday life, and embracing fatherhood brings him a different kind of joy. Yet, traces of loneliness and unresolved past wounds linger. Murphy's story highlights the paradox of fame. While laughter and acclaim can fill auditoriums, they cannot always heal the silent cracks left by childhood trauma and personal loss, revealing a more nuanced portrait of happiness behind the glamour. The tragic paradox. Eddie Murphy's life illustrates the delicate balance between glory and solitude. Once capable of making millions of people laugh uncontrollably, he now experiences moments of quiet reflection and solitude. Fame provided opportunity and recognition, but could not fully protect him from the lasting effects of early loss and hardship. The very tool that carried him to stardom, humor, was also his shield against the darker aspects of life. His story is a reminder that success and laughter, however brilliant, can coexist with loneliness, pain, and longing. Eddie Murphy's journey reflects the human condition. Even legends can struggle. Even icons can face silence when the applause fades. Legacy and resilience. Eddie Murphy's legacy is both vast and complex. He revolutionized comedy, broke barriers for Black actors, and left an indelible mark on film and television. Beyond his public persona, his life story embodies resilience, showing how personal tragedy can be transformed into artistic brilliance. Murphy's journey, from a traumatized child in foster care to a global icon, is a testament to the power of persistence, creativity, and courage. Yet, it is also a sobering illustration of the hidden struggles that accompany success. In embracing both laughter and sorrow, Eddie Murphy offers a profound narrative about survival, human fragility, and the bittersweet realities behind even the most celebrated lives. Conclusion. Eddie Murphy's story is one of triumph, tragedy, and profound resilience. He transformed childhood pain into comedic genius, entertained millions, and achieved a level of fame few could imagine. Yet beneath the glittering accolades lies a lifetime shaped by loss, loneliness, and the quiet longing for inner peace. Murphy's life reminds us that laughter can heal, but it cannot erase every wound, and that even the brightest stars can carry shadows unseen by the world. At 64, he stands as both icon and human, proof that true understanding of life requires looking beyond success to the emotions, memories, and experiences that define a person's journey.